It's the Nintendo Game Boy compact video game system, which was released in 1989 and defined portable handheld gaming on the go for an entire generation. This is one in its original packaging, in mint condition, the old school black and white Game Boy with games like Tetris. And look, it's playable by child doctors. Or maybe they're just in the future. With the Game Boy in its stylish box, look how much better the boxes for these things were back in the day. You get Tetris, headphones, they actually gave you headphones for digital stereo sound, none of that analog crap. You couldn't fit a record player on this thing. Video link cable for simultaneous multiple player competition. Now they would charge you an additional fee for all of that. And 4 AA batteries, oh come on. Does this still have the batteries? Because I could use some of those. The Game Boy wasn't just a child's toy. It has a powerful CPU and microprocessors that allow complex scrolling backgrounds, hundreds of images, and exciting play. If you don't watch it closely, it will take over your ship and jettison you into space. What are you doing, classic game room viewer? The Game Boy plays game cartridges that look like this, and back in the day, they came in boxes that look like that. Home Alone 2, the video game? Wow. We'll just put that over there. And look at this one, Boomer's Adventure. It really does look futuristic when you look at the artwork, which is gorgeous. I love the packaging. And this was loaned to the show by my friends Dave, Bridget, and Leela, who apparently have stored this in a hermetically sealed environment for the past 20-some years. Because really, it should not be in this kind of condition. This is amazing. Let's open this up. You're goddamn right I can, now that I've got a Game Boy. Oh, welcome back to the 80s. What is this? Well, the thing is, I haven't read that, but I don't care. Did you guys ever play this thing? Look at this. The instruction manual for Tetris. The cable. Wait, where are those headphones? That's it. It's going back. As you can see on the back, this is model number DMG01 from 1989. I've just changed the batteries. Now let's fire this thing up and see how it works. On. The screen is not backlit, as you can tell. The Nintendo Game Boy is super old school and was the default standard for years when it came to handheld game consoles, even though the frame rate was pretty bad. It's actually quite jerky. And some of the newer Game Boys, in fact all of the newer Game Boys, improved on that, particularly the Game Boy Advance SP with its awesome backlit screen. But this is the original, and at the time, it was mind-blowing. In addition to being stylish, attractive, and well-made, the Nintendo Game Boy has a number of very cool features, like the ability to play with the external connector linking two of these guys together. Here's your volume control, headphone jack, and contrast control over here to adjust what you're seeing on screen. That's where the AC adapter would go. And of course, this is the cartridge slot, where I have Street Fighter II inserted. Note the A and the B button, speaker, so you can play this without headphones, start and select buttons like the old school NES controllers, and the textured D-pad. Let's hook up some headphones and test the sound quality with Tetris, an old school game. In fact, this is the one that came with the Game Boy. Insert cartridge, output fun. Who needs a Walkman when you've got one of these things? Check out the old school monochromatic screen. It's Donkey Kong on the Game Boy. Can't stop playing Donkey Kong once you start. It's like playing video games with a giant brick in your hands. It's remarkable how old school the Game Boy feels today, but it represented the future of handheld gaming. And in many ways, it still does. It actually doesn't. That just sounded dramatic when I said it like that. As much as I love the Game Boy and the packaging in particular, it represents an awesome trip back through memory lane. But the fact is, the Game Boy should just be retired and kept as a collector's item these days. If you'd really like to enjoy the massive library of video games that were produced because of the popularity of the awesome Game Boy, you go with one of these, the backlit screen Nintendo Game Boy Advance SP. The old school monochromatic 1989 Nintendo Game Boy. Gaming in the future with invisible robot hands. That looks about right. Let's take a look at this picture on the back once again. I see the future, and it looks cheesy. I've read this after buying my next game pack. This guy is into skateboarding, physics, rock and roll, and his favorite game is Super Mario Bros. 2. Thanks to the secrets of using Nintendo Power magazine. Check this out on the back. We've got some pictures from the excellent Blaster Master. Get it straight from the pros, kids, with Nintendo Power.